Royal greetings, it is a beautiful rise and yours truly here. I am here to add a bit more information pertaining to my jurisdiction of operations. There are beings who have been supporting, sharing great insight, the encouragement as well as the encouragement to continue doing what I'm doing, keep speaking the truth, keep, sharing enlightenment as well as knowledge and other information surrounding the grounds of law, the jurisdictions, as well as who I am as American Indian, which is the Amerindians. And speaking more of our roots or ancestry and such. So I am in the building space where it is remodeling as the first international indigenous Supreme Court of Justice right here in the Caribbean. And it's right here on Alubera, also known as Tobago. Okay, so as you know, I have actually had a discussion there with a fellow being who had, spoke and came out openly about his claims and his injustices. All right, so aside from that, I would share with you what exactly tribal law is and what it refers to. So tribal law refers to the body of laws, the codes, its constitutions, and the court decisions created and enforced by the indigenous American Indians. They are also known as the American Indigos or Amarukans, which are the Colonize royals. All right, so the tribal governments reflect all sovereignty. So this tribal governance reflects all sovereignty. When I say all, as in the American Indians, and there are many tribes across the Americas, North, Central, and South Americas. There are many tribes, so it reflects all sovereignty and all powers to self-govern. Okay, so these laws also address issues similar to those that those other governments would have, in the jurisdictions of criminal and civil cases and matters. It deals with taxation and like other membership rules that we may have and set. Okay, so it is also applied to our tribal members, whatsoever we set as our structural system within our tribal government, and our members operate in their jurisdictions accordingly. All right, so tribes are always recognized as sovereign nations. Okay, so with our inherent powers of self-government and allowing us to create our own legal systems. So through this sovereign, operation, the sovereign being, we hold our highest jurisdiction as our natural government or self-government, in the retrospect of our self-autonomy and self-governance through our self-realization and determination as well. Okay, so in a nutshell, tribal laws refers to the body of laws, the codes, the constitutions, and the decision made and enforced by the indigenous American Indians, all right, or the Indigo Indians, all right? And that is just that. So here we have known that the first peoples are the Amerindians. Amerindians are the American Indians. Okay, so with this being known, we know that there have been a number of tribes, be it Caribs, be it Arawaks. There are also tribes right here in the landmass of Alubera, also known as Tobago, as well as Kairi, which is Trinidad. Okay, so there are a number of tribes there as well too, and every tribe have their natural governments and as well the tribal laws protecting such. So how does this fit into the international indigenous Supreme Court of Justice? So we are operating here in that sovereign jurisdiction as it is an indigenous court, and the tribal law is where we allow ourselves to serve and operate in the scope of justice and honor, as well as have it returned to us, gracefully. So in the retrospect of its operations, it is even, closely combined to what it is in the form of a natural government as well. And in the scope of what is even divine meaning it's passed on from ancestry to ancestry, and the highest council as well is where we would always seek to operate from in the retrospect of our justice and honor, as I mentioned before. So it's that, and I am Carib as well, Carib Queen and Chief, You know, I have roots in the Cherokee tribes as well throughout the North Americas, and this is something that I have thought about mentioning otherwise too, when it comes to knowing and also understanding what West Indians or West Indies speak on. So it has been introduced and mentioned to us, you know, whilst we were younger. I remember, you know, we had books such as the West Indian Readers and such. However, when it comes to our source, as in the root of where the West Indians stem from, there hasn't been much transparency in that case. Instead, there has been a great misclassification of our landmark jurisdiction. So the Mississippi River is a river that is extremely grandiose. Grandiose meaning it is very much large. It expands as, you know, deeply rooted, like straight down to where we are here in the Caribbean, and even as like going up more towards Eurasia as well too. You know, hence I speaking of my roots being Europa, Simmons, who is also where Europe as well as Eurasia got their appellations from. All right, so coming from the Northwest Americas, from the Mississippi Channel. All right, so the Mississippi Channel, and we've had like fellow Amazonians as well too, and I have Amazonian in my roots as well, as the primordial indigenous sovereign. Okay, so West Indian speaks on the American Indians from the Northwest Channel, all right? And that is that. There are other beings who came from the Orinoco River Channel as well. And yeah, we've spawned throughout the Americas, okay? So I hope that you are able to understand what I mentioned regarding tribal law earlier, as well as knowing that, all right, you know, what is a West, who or what a West Indian is, or where have we stemmed from, more or less. And I hope that you're able to follow as I go. I would continue to share a bit of insight, information, and I hope to also speak more on the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples, as well as the American Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples, because it also allows us, you know, fellow beings of our indigenous tribes, to have a guiding principle that also protects our sovereignty. So what is actually written in the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago's constitution does not protect us. Hence the reason for installing and as well bringing to the life, you know, in the living retrospect, this International Indigenous Supreme Court of Justice. It is very much essential, and I am really passionate to, you know, be in this visionary retrospect and aspect, and to continue in its motion of its operations. All right, so you know me, Highest Imperial Majesty, Goddess Shasta, Trinity L, also known as Tanika Simmons, Solomon, Vincent as well, Adams Maha'Bal, White Hawk, White Eagle, Rainbow. I also shared where Rainbow is actually stemmed as early as 1086 and beyond, in like if we should record any dates, and throughout Europe as well as the Americas, hand in hand. So aside from just being having relatives, my foremothers out there in the North Americas, we also have, you know, connections in the spaces of Europe and even Eurasia. All right, so Rainbow is an appellation that is like beyond 1,000 years of documented existence. All right, and yeah, it's to simply continue to honor and respect my appellation as that, and with the rainbow. And as you know, you see me having the purple on top at the crown, because it speaks on the crown chakra, and is the crown chakra element. All right, speaking on the breath of life, as well as it is also the square root of song. So I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will stay connected. Pay attention to what tribal law is, and yeah, let's continue doing great stuff. So feel free to contribute, to donate in whatever way you are able to. Share this video, stay connected, and have beings, you know, remain in the loop of the journey of installing this first international indigenous court of justice right here in the Caribbean. Much love, much love.